morning. All right, Stephen Howson, Stretford, Paddock, as it says right there on the back of the screen. This is the news. We're going to be talking about Jadon Sancho, obviously. I think you already kind of knew that, didn't you? We've got other people that we're going to be talking about. You know how this works when it's June, July, August kind of times. We got nothing else to say except possibly transfers. So we're going to be talking about those. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to be getting up the comments so we can have a bit of a conversation. Otherwise, this is just a madman screaming in a room, isn't it? Whereas if you lot can talk back to me, it's a madman screaming into a room where people are replying. So let's get into that mixer. Just give us a second while I pull up the comments. Right, so here's what's the latest on Jadon Sancho. And it is as follows. Supposedly, Woodward is willing to pay, according to Sports Witness. Now, I got a couple of issues with that as a headline. One, Woodward resigned. He's just fully spinning around in his chair at the moment. Two, Matt Judge is the fella that does the negotiations. Three, John Murtaugh and Darren Fletcher are now like the people that are supposedly leading what goes on with the transfers. So what does Woodward do? I mean, there's a lot of people that have been asking that for the last 8 years, in all honesty, but I think it's a very pertinent question at the moment. So apparently there is belief amongst all parties that it's very likely the deal will go through. And this was reported to me, and Alex sort of touched on it a bit last night from Patrick Berger on Tuesday. After the first round of negotiations between the two clubs last week, Dortmund have learned that United chief Ed Woodward is willing to pay for the attacker. Woodward, for now, Matt Judge, John Murtaugh, hasn't made any attempt to close the gap. That, to me, is at odds with the headline. Woodward willing to pay, hasn't made any attempt to close the gap. Those two things are different. They don't really make a lot of sense to me. Since the first round of negotiations, and apparently it claims it's pure poker now. Why do we have to funny about like this? Why? Go on, what about 50 though? It's 100 quid, mate. It's just, why do we think we're going to get away with this? Anyway, so apparently Sport Builder also saying United would prefer a lower fixed sum and higher additional payments depending on success, and Dortmund definitely do not want that. Do you know why they don't want that? Because we've had very little success in the last 8 years, haven't we? Like, literally going, it is literally like walking in trying to buy a load of Red Bull and saying, I'll tell you what, if I don't drink this, I'll give you 100 quid. You're going to drink it, lad. I think you're addicted. Yeah, but what if I don't drink it? I'll give you 100 quid. And if I do drink it, I'll give you 20. But we all know you're going to drink it, so just give us the 100. It's nonsense, isn't it? Another hurdle in the negotiations that United want to pay the transfer fee over the next 5 years. Honestly, we make Barcelona look well run at the moment. Incredible. And Dortmund believe that duration is too long. Do you know why it's too long? Because it's halfway to his testimonial. Can't still be paying him off in 5 years' time. That is batshit crazy. No wonder we've got 700 million quid's worth of debt still. We're walking in trying to buy people and going, yeah, stick it on the card. You don't have to pay that off, right, don't you? No, we don't. And most people would go, well, you do. Obviously, our owners clearly don't. They absolutely love throwing it on the credit cards. Again, just highlights how poorly we run as a club. For all you amateur economicists out there, debt's good for the club. Not when you're paying 1.5 billion in interest, it ain't. Anyway, next up, Cristiano Ronaldo's preferred transfer revealed. 17 million contract offer on the table. Interesting. So United have arrived as genuine contenders, according to Gazzetta dello Sport, reporting that United are ready to offer him yearly wages of 19.7 million euros in order to tempt him back to Old Trafford. However, this was coming, wasn't it? It's reported that Ronaldo would prefer a move to France, specifically PSG, but their interest in Ronaldo is dependent on the future of Mbappe. Ronaldo, apparently, according to them, is happy to leave Italy in the summer, but will wait for the right offer. He's currently on 27 million a year. Christ. I actually think he's probably worth more than that. I actually think he's on more than that, actually, but, you know, I guess maybe that's after tax. Remains hopeful that an offer close to that number will arrive. It's understood that the final decision on his move will be made after the Euros, as he made it clear he's fully focused on Portugal right now. Now, on that, me and Alex touched on this last night. If you manage to get a forward line of Mbappe, Ronaldo and Neymar, even Poch can't balls this up. There's talk that they're going to get Sal Niguez, and I actually see that happening as well. And they might be getting Varane on a free as well. Oh my God, that's a good team, isn't it? I mean, literally, you've just strengthened attack, midfield, defence, sound. And what was the team that was already destroying the league regardless of that? And people are saying, yeah, add Pogba to that as well. Yeah, you might be able to add Pogba to that as well. Wow. What a team that is. Jonathan Schager has just been twittering saying that it looks like Tuanzebe's going out on a full season-long loan. I touched on this again last night too. There's some question marks in terms of goalkeeper still currently. I hope the last 12 months was going to answer that question for us. Who is Manchester United's genuine number one? And I didn't mind going through that 12 months of uncertainty to figure out who it was. At one point, it looked like Solskjaer just completely ghosted De Gea in favour of Henderson, although I'm not 100% sure that now that is the case. Tuanzebe went out on a season-long loan, did really well, brought him back to the club. This is where he's meant to kick on, fight for and win a first-team place if everything goes to plan. Going out on loan again after playing like half a dozen games this season feels like a step backwards, feels like he's wasted a year and a half, 2 years. Maybe it'll be good for him. But it feels like the clock's ticking now. He's got to be playing regular first-team football and probably in the Premier League as well, I think. And we've also had the release of United's first fixtures. Opening game is Leeds at home. I believe there'll be a crowd there. I'm not sure how sure that is. I mean, we paid for our season tickets this week, so I guess I'll be there. Unless there's any sort of restrictions, and let's be honest, that could change in 20 minutes, couldn't it? Our first away game is Southampton. We've got Newcastle away on Boxing Day, Wolves at home on New Year's Day. Final home game is Chelsea, and our final away game will be Crystal Palace. Our opening 6 games, Leeds at home, Southampton away, Wolves away, Newcastle at home, West Ham away, Villa at home. It's a decent opening run that United could look to get a bit ahead of steam up there. March Madness, I thought it was an American thing. Apparently it's in this order. The dates aren't confirmed on this yet. City away, Spurs at home, Liverpool away, Leicester at home, Everton away. That's a rough month, isn't it? And then we've got Liverpool and City home games 23rd of October and 6th of November, and then we play them away both in March, 5th of March, 19th of March. So I guess there's a couple in there. And what they also didn't mention in the March Madness, we said it was in this order. I guess it still is in that order. Whatever. So that's thoughts on the leaked, or released, I guess, rather than leaked, Premier League fixtures for 2021. At the end of the day, you play them all in the same period, don't you? Sometimes it's good to maybe space some of them games out a little bit so you can actually go into them a bit fresher. March Madness does look like absolute madness. Low Grade Comic Collectors Global says, hey guys, would you take Memphis on a free? He's a different player from when he was here. Let's hijack Barcelona and get an optional goal scorer. I think United was too big for him. It could be that Barcelona ended up being too big for him. I don't think we should go back to players. Certainly ones that maybe weren't a success around first time around. I'm not sure that's the one. De Gea will be fine as long as no one gets a penalty against us the entire campaign. Honestly, he needs to start saving some of them, doesn't he? I thought Rio made a great comment about Rice. 10 years of dedication and a driving force behind a club's ethos, worth 80 million. Also, do I think he'd make a good centre-back? No, I don't think he'd make a good centre-back. But I also don't think he's worth 80 million. Unfortunately, that's the price that you have to go to. You can get 2 top midfielders, and United can't be throwing all our eggs in one basket at the moment. We've got to try and improve the squad. You've got to improve the starting 11, and you can probably get 2 first-choice players for 80 million if you're sensible with it. How am I feeling? I'm all right. Hay fever killed my sleep last night, or maybe the 2 one-a-days that I had, trying to clear it so I could come on air. Didn't do me any good. Slept horrendously, but there you go. Need a centre mid. That's the real priority. Midfielders win teams' games. Yes. Can I clarify? I thought Woodward wasn't involved in decision making. I mean, I said that. I said I have no idea why they're calling this Woodward, and I listed it all. I'll go back to the start of the video, you'll see. FFK Fan TV says Grealish, which actually says Graylish, but I think he's saying Grealish. Who's winning the league next year? If City get Grealish and Kane like they're supposed to, they should have won it by third week in September, I reckon. Neves 35 mil is too good to pass on. I concur. Can I get the fella from the news on a podcast? Which fella from which news? And which podcast? Who? Oh, Jordan. Maybe. He was on Twitch watch along the other day with the lads. Oh, yeah, Jordan, yeah. I'll think about it. Sell Pogba, buy Jack Grealish. Right, here's the thing. You sell Pogba, you buy Jack Grealish. Where does he play? Bruno's position, not going to happen. Left wing, not going to happen. Play him as another number 8 alongside Bruno. Yeah, top. If you had a world-class number 6 behind him, that would be really good. We don't. Here's the thing. You looked at that France team last night. Pogba gets a ton of freedom, gets to go and do whatever he wants. No one's pulling their hair out. They just let him go dictate and play balls all around because he's got Griezmann in front of him doing the number 10 thing. He's got Rabiot in behind him and this fella called Kante, which I don't know if you're aware of. He's a bit good. And then a top-class defence behind him as well. It gives you the freedom to go and do what you want. We don't have that. John says, my prediction, as long as the Glazers are owners of this once great club, we'll never win the league or a European Championship. You can fluke a Champions League. It's been done, right? It has been done. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. You generally don't fluke a league. Leicester's was a freak occurrence, but they deserve to win the league. And I think the only way you're going to get someone that wins the league in those sort of circumstances, again, it's going to have to match up with the circumstances that Leicester won it in. And it'll be a team out of the top 6 that's come from nowhere, that's hit upon the perfect sort of system and then gets a week of preparation to train for every single game. When you're fighting Europa League and Champions League midweek, you can't fully focus on that game that's at the weekend. That's what makes it really hard. The Red Bull analogy was actually pathetic. Well, fucking roll with it. Notch says, I can't stop sweating. Summer, it's hot in it. Starting to see why so many Americans have aircon. And the problem with British buildings is British buildings are designed to keep heat in. So when it gets a bit warm, we just get red hot, and our buildings just aren't prepared for when it is a little bit hot. What do I think of hiring Zidane as new Manchester United? As new Manchester United what? Is it worth looking into Sandro Tonali with rumours of AC Milan wanting to make his loan permanent? There's a lot of players. There's a hell of a lot of players. Best condiment, Peronaise. There is a hell of a lot of players around the world that improve Manchester United's starting 11. It didn't used to be the case. The fact that it is the case shows you exactly where this club right is. Simple. 6:45 a.m. in Cleveland, tuning in live. Good morning. Have a good day at work. Or tossing it off, doing whatever you want, I guess. Whatever you're doing. Alex Bailey says, sell Pogba, Matic and loan some of the youth that could benefit from top-flight leagues. Get in Varane, Neves, Saul and Sancho. We win the league with Saul, Neves and Bruno midfield. Very simple, but you can't guarantee winning the league, ever. But that is a team that I do think challenges better than this one, I think. I think you've put in a lot of balance to it. You've improved defence, you've improved midfield, and you've improved attack. And I think you've improved the team there. You've maybe added a little bit of depth in there too. You've got rid of Matic, who probably isn't productive. You've got rid of Tony Marshall, who I think can have his moments, but I don't think it's worked for him at Manchester United. I don't think he's going to improve. And people can go, well, he was top scorer a couple of years ago. He was. But he's not kicked on from there. He hasn't shown any sign of improving. He hasn't shown any sign of being I mean, Cavani came in and everyone went, oh, shit, actually, that's what you're meant to do as a centre-forward. Sorry, my bad. And obviously you bring Jadon Sancho in and you've massively improved and upgraded the right-hand side. So there you go. What do I get from Nando's? Half chicken, hot. And this might shock you, a lot of yous. And a Caesar salad, usually. But sometimes chips and garlic bread. After watching... Oh, lost that one, sorry. Thoughts on a potential Lingard new deal? I don't think we should give him one. Let him go. Has the coaching and management team showed that they've kicked on compared to the change Tuchel's made? I don't think so. Here's the thing. Lampard was provably shit. And his team was the team that was invested into the most in the world last summer, which is why you go, all right, yeah, an already good team. I mean, just look at the options in midfield alone. United don't have anywhere near that strength or depth. And someone should have done better with that team. Tuchel came in and he's done better with that team. Perhaps a little bit fortunate. I'm not going to say lucky or fluky. Perhaps a little bit fortunate in winning the Champions League. And did really well in the league. Made them really defensively solid. But I think Manchester United's management team has proven that they can do bits. I think there's still question marks over certain things. Set pieces just aren't good enough. That's something that is under the control of the coaching staff. I don't think the timing of substitutions and utilisation of substitutions is quite there either. But I think the overall job that they've done is very, very good. And the fact that we came second ahead of all of these so-called top managers tells you that. After watching strategy from Man United this transfer window, we are on the same road to follow Arsenal. I do believe that. I actually firmly believe that that's literally what the Glazers want. The old Arsenal model of just making it into the top four. The problem is, if you're just going top four sound and you've got 5-6 teams around you saying, we want to be the best team in the world, you're not going to achieve your goal because the ones that miss being the best team in the world are still going to achieve more than you do, just aiming to come top four. So it's like we've literally turned up with a feather duster to a fucking gunfight. That's what's going on. And we think, oh, can we get in the top four with this? No, you can't. Put this away. With Henderson's hip issue, should De Gea now stay? I think he probably will because he's on too much to move him on somewhere. Any news on a centre mid? Nope. Our squad is barely top four in the country. Correct. I mean, literally, that Liverpool team, according to people, not this lad, but according to people, was the greatest Premier League team of all time. And every single player in every single position was the best ever. Literally, you go through it 1 to 11. Best ever, best ever, best ever. Lose a centre-half, and for large periods of the season are outside the top four. They did really well to come in and finish inside the top four. But most independents and neutrals will tell you that that's a better side than United's. Okay, cool. They finished below us. Chelsea's is definitely better than ours. Finished below us. The starting 11 for Leicester, I think, is better than ours. Finished below us. So, I think that's where... if we had Manchester City's squad, I'd be sitting here saying, we need to win the fucking Champions League, the league, and everything. Everything, including the Manchester Senior Cup. But, that's how it rolls. Anyway, that's me for the day. It's all sorts of shit coming out. Make sure you keep it locked to Stretford Paddock. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. It is transfer season, so we could be going live at any minute if something breaks. And I'll see you lot in the next one. Laters.